Hey, hey, hey!
It's World Menopause Day!
Yes, it is. And do you know what that means? We have just opened up this big 6-week mini series so that we can help women, I guess, reframe and retrain their brain around navigating the stages of menopause. Now, why does this matter? I'll tell you why it matters, because we're like half the damn population, and so many of us struggle with menopause symptoms. So, I guess what we've seen in the past is people start to feel a little bit isolated. They start to potentially get anxiety, depression. Their training starts to have an impact. Their nutrition starts to have an impact. Their brain and their mental and emotional well-being start to have an impact. And women start to feel disconnected. And quite often we think that these symptoms are a manifestation, like we're sometimes made to feel like we are making shit up. Sometimes we are gaslit by doctors. Lots of times, right? I'm not blaming doctors. So if you're a doctor, I'm not blaming you. But this is an area that me and Sam are really passionate about because we've seen firsthand with obviously running a women's only gym how many women struggle with this. And from a personal perspective, like I had a hysterectomy at age 30. I was with a hormone specialist, I think, age 34. I started hormone therapy, I think 30 and a half. Like it had a massive impact on my hormones. I was what they called estrogen dominant in my 20s, which I believe led to my mental breakdown at age 28. Sam's been experiencing perimenopause in the last 12 months.
I have.
And we just want to get rid of all the stigma around menopause and share with you what we've learned on our journey, our experiences, what we've been studying and researching in the last 12 months, investing a lot of time, effort, and energy into this area specifically.
And it's a huge area.
It's massive.
It's a massive
It should
area.
be. Woman. We are.
We are
We should be
huge.
like, good God, when we think about it, we're half the population.
Yeah.
The better half of the population, by the way. Just saying.
So, I mean, really, for today's episode, our goal is to chat about what are the different stages of menopause and just talk about some of the symptoms that you might be experiencing that you had no idea were actually symptoms and related to menopause or the stages of menopause. And this is hugely empowering because once you know, you can't unknow. Now, I guess the important thing is why is it important? Like,
Well, I think, many women
yeah.
struggle, right?
Oh God, the symptoms are so diverse. And I bet you that every single person that's listening to this now goes, I know all about it. Because you've had the symptoms. You might have had the hot flashes. You might have had the night sweats.
Fatigue.
You got the fatigue, yeah.
And also
sleep has been stuffed up, right? And most of my clients are sleep.
Yeah, and that has a massive impact on your energy and how you're showing up in the world. The exhaustion can make it really challenging to keep up with work, with keeping up with family, with keeping up with just
life.
General life. Like it's huge.
And emotionally, it can bring you like feelings of like sadness, like you start crying, like you don't even know why. There's this loss feeling that you can't explain, but something's like missing, something's just not right.
True.
I think a lot of the girls that I've spoken to, they feel like isolated.
Misunderstood.
Misunderstood.
Misunderstood. You go to the doctor with all of these things that you
like a hypochondriac, right? You think like I'm a hypochondriac.
You know that it's wrong, but then when you go to the doctor, you're either gaslit or dismissed. And I know that there's a lot of doctors out there that are not understanding what we're going through, or in the past, they haven't had the expertise or the training to help women with menopause. And we're going to address this later in more of the symptoms, right? So I guess.
But I mean, I think another thing that it really hits is your self-esteem. I think a lot of women struggle because some things are changing and you don't understand and your self-esteem takes a hit. it does have an effect on your sex drive and all that sort of stuff. So your relationships can be affected because suddenly, you're not that into it, but you don't even know why. And then there's all those questions.
I think personally there's a stigma of shame around menopause, and I'm like, I'm not over that. Like, good God, I think I've been going through menopause for a very long time. Do you know? That's what I think. And today we want to explain what are the stages and give you the tools so that we can reframe and retrain our brain so that we can navigate this stage of our life so we can feel more vibrant, more alive, more energetic. We have some tools in our little toolbox that if we have to go to the doctor, we know what we're talking about. Because quite honestly, I think that we can take more responsibility for our health and not rely on our doctors. When you think about the demands on doctors, they've got to know a shitload of information about a shitload of things. We need to take responsibility, I believe, for our own health, understand what sorts of blood tests we need, being able to read our blood tests and being able to get advice from our doctors, but also knowing what to say to our doctors when we go in and we're not feeling good. So today is going to be a pretty epic session. We're going to just nail what is menopause, the stages, what are some of the symptoms, and then
we'll break down where we're going to go from here. Because there's too much information. Like we could be here for about 7 hours.
So grab yourself a cup of coffee, maybe put some headphones on, go beat the streets, get some steps up, because this is going to be a great episode. All right, let's go, Sam.
Let's talk about why it matters. Like, why is it important?
5 reasons.
Okay. Why. It's so important that we get and understand menopause. It's essential because one, you want to make informed choices. Right? Knowledge is power. If you understand menopause.
I'm stopping you there. Knowledge is potential power.
Potential power. True.
Right? Tony Robbins taught us this. Knowledge is potential power. So if you don't use the knowledge, it's
powerless.
Powerless. But once you hear, you can't ignore this.
You can't unhear something. You can't unhear something.
That was good. Yeah.
So it's going to help with life. It's going to help with your lifestyle and treatment options. Like what's out there? What should you be doing? What shouldn't you be doing? What needs to change? What needs to stay the same? So understanding is really important. Having information makes a massive difference to where you go from now.
So number 1, informed choices. Number 2, empowerment. What does that mean?
It's being educated and being able to take the steps and feel I know what to do. I can embrace this. This is a part of your life, whether you like it or not, ladies. We are going to go through menopause. Whether you're 15 now or you're 50 now, it's happening or it's happened or it's going to happen. So let's make it a positive experience.
And also, I believe from my experience, once I have the knowledge, I then feel more empowered, which gives me certainty, a little bit more clarity, which helps reduce anxiety. And I don't know about you, but going through perimenopause, and I believe I'm at the menopause stage right now, right? That matters. Like reducing anxiety freaking matters. Oh, let me just warn you too. There's going to be lots of swear words because I am so passionate about this. All right.
Okay, number 3. So number 2 was empowerment.
Yep.
Number 3 is improved health outcomes. Now, who doesn't want that? All right. Awareness of menopause can lead to proactive action. So you can
proactive health management.
Well, you're managing your symptoms. You're managing what's happening. You're addressing issues like bone density is a problem. Muscle strength, heart health,
mental and emotional well-being.
Weight, because for a lot of women listening to us, we've got a women's only gym. Weight is huge.
This is massive.
So body composition, muscle, all that stuff. It's so important.
But ultimately, we can enhance our quality of life by improved health outcomes. Oh yeah.
Number 4.
Yes.
You're going to have a supportive community.
Why does that matter, man? Because
I guess when you understand menopause and you can talk about it, you can talk about it with other women. You can have that connection. You can talk about this podcast while you're sitting and having a coffee and go, oh, you know how Ush said blah, blah, and then Sam said this, and then I saw this on Google, and I read that, and you can actually start talking about it without shame.
Because everybody is closed mouth about this. I don't understand it. It's like we have shame based around menopause. This doesn't even make sense that this is something every single woman is going to go through, and yet it is something that we don't discuss. So when we can talk about it openly, we encourage other women to stop hiding behind the shame, Shame loves shadows. I've told you that before, right? Let's bring it out of the shadows. Let's have more education around this and have open conversations about it so that we normalize it. It is so important that this is normalized. It is normal.
And
Right.
to share experiences like I did this and this really helped. And I've heard that recently from some ladies in the gym. I spoke with this one and she said to try that and do this, and it's really made a difference. Like, why? We don't want to keep it a secret. We don't want our best friend to suffer while we are not.
And in saying that, your menopause experience is unique to yours. My experience has been 100% different to Sam's. Sam's will be 100% different to yours. Like, your symptoms, your experience is very different to the person next to you. You're unique, baby, and you're special. Don't forget it. Okay.
And I guess number 5 is actually just breaking the stigmas.
This is the big one for me and you, isn't it? This is why we're here. We want to be able to break this stigma.
We want to be talking about, we want to have the conversations. We want to reduce the feelings of shame and isolation. And you're not going crazy. And this is natural and it's part of your life's transition. So let's just make it normal. Let's be able to talk about it.
Yep.
And let's just take this to a whole new level. I'm excited. I think this is such a huge opportunity.
Let's recap the number 5s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Go.
Number 1, informed choices.
Informed choices.
Number 2, empowerment.
Empowerment.
Number 3, improved health outcomes.
Oh, yes.
Love that one.
Yes.
4, support and community.
Let's be there for each other.
And number 5, let's break the stigmas around it. Let's normalize it, guys, because guess what? It's 100% normal.
Good God, it's about time we just crack this open. All right, so we're going to open today talking about the 3 stages, and why this matters is just recently we were holding a discussion with our trainers about menopause and perimenopause and postmenopause, and highlighting how important it is to understand the phases. And by talking with various people about this topic, this is one of the common myths that we hear. I'm in menopause.
I did choke on my coffee.
Good God, don't do that. Right? I'm in menopause. I'm going through menopause. I'm having menopause brain fog. So we want to be able to give you an overview of what perimenopause is, what menopause is, and what postmenopause is. Why? Because people don't know these 3 things. People just think there's this whole thing called menopause, and there is, but there's actually stages of menopause, and nobody ever talks about them. Like, nobody does. So I'm going to hit number 1, perimenopause. Give me some facts if you're not choking. Perimenopause we'll start with, right?
Okay.
It's right at the beginning. What's the age?
So for perimenopause,
Stop. Just take a moment. What is perimenopause?
Perimenopause is.
Yep.
I was going to test it now.
No. I was asking a question
what is
about
it?
the age, and I was
Okay.
like, no, tell me what it is first, and then give me the ages.
All right. Perimenopause is the stage, usually 2 to 5 years, when your hormones start to change.
Stop. If you learn nothing else on this podcast, perimenopause is when your hormones start to decline. Got it?
They're going down.
Repeat it. Just say it out loud so it stays in your brain. Perimenopause is when your hormones start to decline. Now, here's some more interesting facts. What's next? I'm going to drink my coffee and shut up now.
Ken? It normally for some women, not everybody, lasts around 2 to 5 years, and it starts normally in your low 40s.
What?
However,
No, but what? So many people didn't know that.
low 40s, not mid 40s, not 50s, in your low
Starts.
40s is when it starts. But for a lot of women, it can actually start in the 30s.
That's like a mic drop moment. So many women have no idea that perimenopause, which means, we're starting to drop in the estrogen quite drastically at that age. Most people, right, until about 12 months ago, most people, including Sam, including me, just assumed that menopause is like a thing at 50.
I thought it was a 55 thing.
Well-
At 55, you're going to start with hot flashes. You're going to start with all the symptoms of menopause, and that's when it all
Brain
wraps.
fog.
So you've got till 55
Yeah.
to worry about it. So don't worry about it because you're only in your 40s.
And I guess for me, it was different because, I had a hysterectomy at 30, which is pretty young. Ovaries still intact, but I knew that I was going to go through what I thought was menopause, which is actually perimenopause, in my late 40s. That was just a given. Like a lot of people, and we'll get into this later on in this series. So we had an understanding that I would go through it earlier just because I'd had the hysterectomy. We just were not assuming that Sam was going to go through it. We didn't even talk about it. It was just one of those things that, yep, when we get to 50, it's going to be happening. And until we started doing the research and started studying and collecting a lot more information about menopause, these were some of the things that were really interesting.
And the thing that I didn't know, I had no idea that perimenopause is when the symptoms start. Perimenopause is when you start the hot flashes and when you get the achiness and you get flushes.
Yeah.
And you get the bloody brain fog. It's not when you when you hit menopause, and that's the language that I had completely back to front. I honestly thought that it was a 50-55 thing. It was in my 50s, I'm going to have to worry about that, but I'm only in my 40s.
So don't have to worry about it.
Don't have to worry about it.
And which is why this shit matters. This is like, you need to forward this to all of your girlfriends. All of them need to know about this.
Or your daughters. If
we need to empower other women to speak out about this, and we need to be responsible to help educate other women so that we're not struggling alone. This is so important. We shouldn't do this alone. We want to connect with our community and normalize this. So perimenopause is the
first stage when estrogen and hormones are dropping.
Everything's on the decrease, right? Symptoms are showing up, which is why we're also going to tap into symptoms today. Anything else?
Can last 2 to 5 years for normal, but can go right up to for 10 years. Some people can experience 10 years of perimenopause. And it's basically most often when you're in your early 40s that you are in full-blown perimenopause. Not like it might be starting, you're in like full-blown perimenopause.
So give yourself a quick sip of water just to digest that. Okay, number 2, menopause is 1 day. This is the thing, right?
When you say like perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause, perimenopause.
1 day. Now, that 1 day...
it's probably like 1 minute.
Well, I don't know. If you want to make it a special occasion, right?
You can have a menopause
Let's think about, it is 12 months without having a period. 12 months. So if you had a period in month 10, in month 5, in month 11, you haven't reached menopause. You haven't got the flag. You've gone to jail, collect $200, go to jail. You haven't got that, right? You're still back in the perimenopause. 12 full months, no bleeding.
And then that's menopause for that day. So it's like a birthday. You have a birthday and you have a menopause day.
Yeah, symptoms are gone, not always. Yes, this is true. Because symptoms can go through perimenopause and menopause.
Absolutely. And, or even for that day. No. And the average age for someone to hit menopause is actually 51. That's the average age. Now, obviously, there's those people that can reach earlier. And we'll talk about that sort of in one of our other podcasts about what are the factors that could be creating an early onset and what are the factors that could be pushing it left or right. But 51 is the average age that a female will hit menopause. So
did you know that? Like, did you know that? Like, that's pretty young for most people. When we've surveyed people in the last month, this is like, no, what? Like, yeah. Like, this is why this shit matters. All right.
And then guess what? On day 366, you are considered postmenopausal. Yes. Which basically just means that your hormones are super freaking low and you're going to have these symptoms that you've probably been having at different degrees.
And there's no more periods coming. That's it. So there's your 3. Your perimenopause, your menopause, and your post-menopause. We would love to know, was this fact interesting?
Did you know?
Did you learn?
Did you know?
Did you learn something? Because what type of language are you saying? Are you like us and saying, yeah, I'm having a menopause memory fatigue? Like, I'm in menopause. It's a menopause attack. Like, the language is, I'm actually having perimenopause, unless you still have the symptoms in menopause, right, that started in perimenopause.
And I think some of the language, I know that I've caught myself out in the last 12 months. The language I use is, getting old. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying it because I look old or I'm, it's not the traditional I'm getting old. It's just feeling awkward, feeling pain, feeling things that I don't normally feel. So the only word that I could put
Mm.
to it was I'm getting old. And it's not that I'm getting old because I don't feel old. I still feel like I'm 25 or something, really. But the symptoms that we're going to go through have started to sneak in. And it's the only language that I could put to those symptoms. And I think there's a lot of people that are in their 40s, just like me, that are using words that they don't necessarily mean, but without having a better word to use. Like now I'm going, man, it's bloody perimenopause. It sounds so much better than you're getting old, right? Bloody perimenopause. I can blame it on somebody else.
So, menopause gets the spotlight, and often perimenopause is often overlooked. So even though it's the biggest significant changes that women have in their body, I guess, like period, this is the same thing. This is the next big change. So what we do during perimenopause can actually have a huge impact on how we experience menopause later in life.
Mm.
And again, we'll go into the nutrition and the training side of that and what your body needs at different stages of menopause.
Mm.
Oh, all right.
Bloody great.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I guess I just wanted to share
Give
this
me a
with you.
fact.
This was a really like a mind-blowing fact that I came across when I was in this latest book that we've been reading, which is phenomenal. And but the lady, she talks about the fact that even though 50% of us are going through menopause, because 50% of the planet is female. Did you know that at medical schools across the world, hardly any time, like I know that in America, only 5 hours is put towards women's health. Like, that's insane. Navigating perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause, they're literally only putting about 5 hours of study time into something that women are going to spend half of their life going through and coming out the other end. 50% of the population, and 5 hours of time is put into that.
I'm just going to vomit.
It's insane.
No, it's fucking mental. I'm sorry. I'm not even sorry. It is fucking mental that women have been made to suffer and struggle through this is not actually okay. It's not okay. What I see as a consequence of this is so many women have just, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, I've got to do this, it's so hard to navigate this. And when you go to a doctor that isn't specializing in menopause, you can actually feel like you've not heard, you've not been seen, you can quite often gaslit, and you leave the office feeling like one, you don't matter, and number two, it's all in your head. Well, there's so much shit going on in your head when you're going through perimenopause. The last thing you need is to be made to feel like you're going crazy, like batshit crazy. You're not batshit crazy. Your bloody hormones are on the decline, and we need to take responsibility for our health because, like what Sam's just shared with you, is Sweetie FA training has gone into menopause for women. So of
And
course you're going to be dismissed.
and it's not the doctor's fault. This is what
Really?
they've been taught, right? They haven't been given the tools. And to be honest, there's very little out there to actually help identify it as well. Like there's very few ways of actually being able to figure out where you're at and whether or not you are at perimenopause or not. So then it's like the
Yeah.
doctors don't know how to measure it, how to tell you if you are or you're not. So if
The good news is, I guess, things are changing. Like in the last 12 months, there's definitely been a significant change to more education and support and resources to help women navigate this part of their life. But on a side note, I'm just going to have a little bit of a bitch fest here. Like when you think about men, right? Like think about them. Sam knows what I'm going to say because I get a little bit on my high horse about this. I'm just curious, and I haven't done the research, but I'm curious. How do they have a drug that can make them get an erection like that? When something goes wrong with their penis, the whole world jumps on it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can't get an erection. Well, we can't have that for God's sake. So, dum dum along comes Viagra. Their shit's sorted. Why? Because they only have one sex hormone. That's testosterone. We've got testosterone, estrogen, and progesterone. What? Is three too many to deal with? Well, we're not going to worry about that. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, how much money was invested when it came to Viagra?
Oh,
Don't get me started
it
on
must be
skills.
millions and billions.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's nuts to think that there is something available that is easily prescribed. I don't even know if you need a prescription. Do you need a prescription for Viagra? I don't even know.
Maybe.
And I might be speaking out of tune here and completely generalizing, but I have to say, if more time was invested in women's health and less in a man's penis, the world would be a happier place. Because let's be honest, when we're going through perimenopause, it's not a pleasant time, not only for you, but you're projecting all those emotions onto your family. So, men, listen up. You need to learn about menopause. You need to help your woman because your life will be better. Happy wife, happy life. It's not happy penis, happy wife, is it? Okay.
But I guess the other thing with
I have to have a drink
thank you,
now.
well done, Ish. That was I've got to calm the situation
I
down.
hope you picked up your pace if you're out there walking because, like, I just need to breathe right now.
The thing that is frustrating is that so often I hear women being told it's just the way, it's part of life. It's you just have to go through it. Your mother did it, your grandmother did it, your great grandmother did it. It's just how it is. It's menopause. Suck it up and go through it. But they didn't say that for men. It's not like, oh, it's part of life. Your penis isn't going to work anymore. Just deal with it. It was like, oh, hell no, find me a drug that's going to fix it. And they did.
And I
Right?
bet you if they surveyed men to say you need to go on a pill, right, that is going to dysregulate your hormones so that you can't impregnate a woman, I bet you they'll be like, oh, 50 questions. No, I'm not doing that.
Oh, yeah. It
I'm not
could
doing
affect
that.
your hormones later. It could make this happen. It could make that happen.
You're
This side effect.
infertile. I bet you. No. Don't. I think this needs to be like a bonus episode at the end of this mini series then.
Okay.
Anyway, okay. But anyway,
The beauty is there's a lot more knowledge and information coming out about women's health now, and this is the time. I don't know if you're aware, but October is actually Menopause Awareness Month.
and today is Menopause Day, International.
Yeah. So we had to put this out today because we needed to reach out to every single person out there who really needs to hear this message and know that it's okay and you're not crazy. And we're actually going to talk about some of the symptoms that are going to hopefully make you realize that actually maybe I am not as crazy as I thought I was. And there may be something else happening. Maybe I am in perimenopause. I'd like to say if you're in your 40s and you're in my age bracket now, the chances are very, very high that you are in perimenopause right now. Very, very high. It's statistically probably,
That is.
it's what statistically proven that you are, but there's a small chance that maybe you're not because you're a super hormony girl. But chances are, like I'm 46. I am definitely in that perimenopause phase. I know I am. I have some symptoms, and let's talk about those symptoms to give you a bit of an idea of what could possibly be on the Richter.
Okay. Now, there are a lot. And we know the common ones, right? Like brain fog, like night sweats, like irritability, like dysregulated or irregular periods, right? Those are some of the common ones. We're just going to throw a whole list at you.
They're coming fast.
Yeah, but because we love you, we're just going to put a link at the end of these show notes. Well, hopefully it's going to be there today. We'll put a link there so that you can get all of the symptoms. What my recommendation is, or our recommendation is just go through them so that when you next go to the doctor, you've got this note to say, hey, these are some of the symptoms. Because I don't know about you, when you go to a doctor, whatever brain fog or mode you're in that day, you ain't going to remember jack shit. You're going to remember the immediate thing that's happening that day. You're not going to remember yesterday, last week, or last month. At least that's my situation.
And symptoms can come and go. And you don't even realize you think, oh yeah, I'm really struggling with blah today. And then 2 days later that blah is now gone. And then you don't think about it anymore. And then you don't worry about it until suddenly it shows up again 6 weeks later. But in that time, you went to the doctor. And so it's actually, if you tick these things off, you've actually got a list of these are the things that have been happening over a period of time.
And I guess, when I've been working with clients with these symptoms, they had no idea that what they were going through was perimenopause. None.
No idea.
So now we just write the list out and then next to it, when the symptoms are showing up. Okay. Are we ready, Sam?
Yeah.
We've got a
Ready?
list so we don't
So
get
long.
distracted.
All right, ready?
Okay,
Go.
low energy. Like just tick them. Just get your fingers ready. Yep, that's me. Yep, that's me. Yep, that's me. And let us know how many symptoms, right? Low energy. Woo! Unexplained weight gain, especially in odd places. Like we notice this in the gym. You've been eating the same food, doing
Same
the same
exercise.
training, and now all of a sudden you can't shift the weight and everything's
Especially around the
expanding.
waist, like around the belly.
Yeah, you're
That's like
getting
the
bigger
most
boobs,
common.
you're getting a big gut, all of those things, right? It's just really weird. You can't do what you once did. You can't starve yourself for 2 days and lose 2 kilos. You'll starve yourself for 6 weeks and you still can't lose a kilo. Anxiety. This is so, so common. So many women are starting to be in fight or flight. They don't understand that it is a normal symptom of perimenopause. They actually start to think they're going a bit batshit crazy, right? And I was one of those women. Depression. Here's an interesting one. Inner, itchy inner ears. So if you wake up and they're all itchy all of a sudden, sometimes throughout the day, sometimes when you're having hot flashes, the same thing, they're itchy. Sleep disturbances, like you're easily woken up, you struggle to go to sleep. Exhaustion, migraines. I've never had migraines. I've had one migraine in my life. Now I'm struggling with them freaking once a month. What is that about? Most people who have migraines don't even link that they are in perimenopause and estrogen is on the down low. Low level nausea. What? Like, used to get that a long time ago. Or even when you're getting periods, I never used to get nausea. I used to feel like bloated, but now we get nausea. This is a really interesting one, which has really shocked my clients. Joint pain. Oh, it's because I did this, it's because I did that. Some of my coaching clients don't even train at a gym. And they're like, oh, I just think it's because I did this. No, we need to get you to a doctor and check your hormone levels, right?
Or I'm
This
just
is
getting old, or
such a common
it's
one.
something that I do all the time. Oh, it's because I go walking. Oh, it's because I do, I don't know, I would do spin, or it's because I do weight training, or it's we blame something externally that must be caused because it's a joint and it's pain. It must be because I did something that I shouldn't have done exercise wise or movement wise. It's just
Estrogen
joint
is so
pain.
important. It's an anti-inflammatory for the body. When that decreases, inflammation goes up in the body, but we're going to get into
We're
that.
going to do another podcast. We've got one
Okay,
coming up.
all right.
Overall aches and fatigue. Body aches and fatigue, right?
Acne.
This is Ursula's favorite one. Brain fog. That is definitely a symptom that Ursula's had over the last 10
I'm a
years.
brain medication
fog.
girl. Like my brain fog is just I call it decision fatigue, right? Like making decisions is another thing. Like I get fatigued making so many decisions. Like it's insane.
Strange.
UTIs are on the
Yeah, and just strange bladder conditions, like suddenly having to cross your legs, and like suddenly one day you were fine, next day you sneezed, and whoops, and it's that like suddenly you're getting that, what do they call it? And women go and get the mesh because you have a leaky bladder, right?
Yes.
It's just suddenly you never had it before, suddenly it's there.
Because again, estrogen is decreasing in the body, and people think this is normal. It's perimenopause symptoms, people. Perimenopause symptoms.
You can also get like vaginal dryness, which makes
I guess
having
it's
sex
common.
like not pleasant, right? Dry or thinning hair.
This, I'm like in my 30s, I was a hair extension girl, right? Now I'm like in my 50s, I'm like, I need double hair extensions. Like I now have product to thicken my hair, to volumize my hair. Like it's crazy. This I didn't know until maybe 2 years ago. I didn't even know that low estrogen was a consequence of thin hair. What? Okay.
Another one, I mean, you all know hot flushes, that's a norm. Okay,
Give me that. This one they don't know.
Okay. This is a big
This is not common for the ladies that I've worked with.
This is a big one. Frozen shoulder. Now, frozen shoulder is when you try to lift your arm and you can't lift it even up to level. You kind of get stuck, and then it's just so painful, and you struggle to move it, and you actually didn't do anything, and it just suddenly gets really frozen, and then you stop moving it because it's so sore, and it freezes.
You may have done a class, and all of a sudden you think you've got a massive shoulder injury, and it was the class, but you've been doing the class for 20 years.
And nothing.
This is huge. This is a one that a lot of people know about. Irregular heartbeat. all of a sudden you've got these massive heart palpitations, blood pressure starts to increase. Where did this come from? Perimenopause, that's a symptom. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Low sex drive,
Yeah.
that's pretty common. Well, most people know that symptom. I don't know if you know, but it's a common symptom.
You can also like notice changes in your skin texture and your skin tone. It's not just because you're getting old, it's actually your hormones that are creating that. Or even like a weird odor, like you just smell different to how you used to smell. Like your body just, yeah. Some women deal with more facial hair or hair growing in places where you just don't want it. Like that's another thing. That's definitely the hormones shifting.
Changes in appetite, right? Like we have a different taste for food. Burning tongue sensation, electric shock feelings. Your gums actually become more sensitive, or
Start bleeding.
You start bleeding. That's another one. This is a huge one for me. Tinnitus. For the past 4 years, I've had constant ringing in my ears. Constant. Like it just drives me nuts. So I have to go to sleep, right? Listening to music or meditations, but I have to have something going. Otherwise, it feels like crickets having a party in my brain. No one told me that that was a perimenopause symptom until I learned about it a couple of years ago. TMJ, like the tension in the jaw, that, oh, that's another one. Didn't know about that either. Wish someone had told me. I did a surgery, a flush out, like over 10 years ago for TMJ. What else?
Digestive issues.
Oh, yeah.
Like you can get the digestion, so you've got the bloating, the indigestion, the constipation, or irregular bowel movements. All of those things are related to it.
Blurred vision, dried eyes, dizziness, and tinglings and hand effect. Woo!
That's not even all of them, guys. There are more in there. And if you want the full list, there will be a link in the show notes. Click on that link, send us your email so that we can send that through to you and you can have the full list and then mark it off and just see how many of those things have occurred. Don't all have to be happening right here, right now, but which of these symptoms have you experienced over the last let's just say the last year? And I'd be super interested to see how many of those are showing up for you.
So just to give you an overview, on the coaching clients that I've gone through this with in the past 12 months, the average is 8 symptoms. 8. Like that's crazy. And they had no idea. A lot of them have come to me because of high anxiety or brain fog or actually just feeling lost and not understanding what's going on in their world. Like that's why they're coming to me, not because they're going through perimenopause. They just feel lost. They feel confused. They feel like they're in control of nothing right now. And once we address some of these and they realize, holy shit, I'm not going crazy. Holy shit, this is a normal transition. This is what I've got. This is what I've got. It makes them feel like they can take their power back. They can start focusing on the things that they can control. They've got more knowledge, more power so that they can go to their doctors and start regulating their hormones, start moving the estrogen up again so that they can start to normalize what they're going through. All right. So this is why it's really important. So you just go into the show notes, get the PDF, we'll send it to you, tick it along the way. So in the next 5 weeks, we have a good setup. We've written it down. We wrote it down. Put it up on the computer.
We're going to do a deep dive into some of the topics, or these are the 5 topics that we're going to talk about to really help give you the knowledge, the information that you need so that coming out of this, you can feel super confident. So number 1, next week, we're going to talk about how estrogen and progesterone are changing in your body during this menopausal phase.
Might be a good idea to tell you what estrogen and progesterone do, but so we'll probably chuck that in there too. Physical changes in the body, like weight gain and bone health, like osteoporosis and osteopenia, which I'm also struggling with, right? Which I'll talk to you about that in my journey with osteopenia and the tests that I did for that. Mental health and menopause, mood, memory, and sleep. Holy shit, I'm an expert on those.
You definitely don't miss number 3.
Yeah.
Right? Number 4, we're going to talk about nutrition and fitness and how fueling your body through menopause and making sure you're doing the right types of exercise to help support your body, right?
And then self-care and self-support, like self-care and support. So we can actually thrive. Instead of being in survival mode, we start to thrive on your menopause journey. So we've broken this down into a 6-part series, which we are so excited about. So if you've got any questions, message us. Like, just pop them at the bottom here. We will address them in the next 6 weeks because we really want to help make this transition so much easier for women. We want to be able to give ladies the knowledge so that they can have the confidence to navigate their way through this part of life. Instead of going into survival mode and isolating and shutting down, we want to give you the tools and the support and the education so that you can feel empowered, so that you can go out there and feel encouraged and feel safe and feel confident that what you're going through, every other woman is actually also going to be going through a part of their journey as well. You're not alone at this time. And I feel that this is our responsibility, one, as gym owners, but also two, as a coach that is really passionate about helping women go through this, right? I think that by sharing what we know and also getting insight and experience from, you ladies sharing your experience with us, I think that we can all help spread the message so that other women feel more empowered and more confident to take on this chapter of their life and not run away from it. I think we're all living in a lot of fight or flight, which dysregulates our nervous system. And we're hoping that we can move people to rest and digest, and we can age bloody gracefully. And look, we can be vitally alive. We can be sexier in our 60s than what we were in our 30s. That is what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
Is that cool?
I think it's going to be amazing, guys. I think it's really cool because you get me. I'm definitely in the perimenopause phase. You get Ursh, who's been through that and is in the menopause, post-menopause phase, as I'm 100% sure. And then actually just being able to have that conversation about feeling like wherever you are on the journey is important that you know that you've got A, support, and B, the knowledge that you can either manage this on your own by implementing some of the stuff we're going to teach you, or you can also have conversations with your doctor and feel a little bit like you know what you're talking about and you're not just going there throwing a whole bunch of stuff and hoping that something's going to stick. So I really look forward to helping you on this journey. If you have any questions or anything that you want to bring up, please comment below and on the YouTube link.
If we know,
send us a message.
We're going to help you.
And we look forward to seeing you next week. Make sure you like subscribe or whatever it is so you don't miss next week's episode. I wouldn't want you to miss it.
And the other thing is, I guess what would be really useful for us is, what were your key takeaways from today? What did you love about it, and what did you learn in today's episode? And is this something that really interests you? Like, if maybe you've gone through a menopause journey that's been really frustrating and really, right? And it's also been really challenging, and there's a lot of fear and uncertainty around it. And maybe you were not seen and you were not heard. And if that's you, I just want to say I'm really sorry that that's been your experience, because it can be really daunting. And, there's nothing worse than feeling shut down and gaslit when it comes to what you're feeling. 9 times out of 10, I'm going to say 10 out of 10, right? Because I am really passionate about this. What you're thinking and what you're feeling is not bullshit. What you're feeling and what you're experiencing is actually real. And I want you to feel okay to know that it's not okay to feel that this is not normal, because what you're experiencing is normal. It's your normal. It's other women's experiences. And sharing is caring. Share your experience with us. What have you learned? What have you appreciated? And we will do the same. So together, let's make a commitment to normalize menopause and help other women navigate this amazing journey in their life right now. So until next week,
be good, behave, take some notes, figure out what's going on with your body, go through your little list of symptoms, and have the most amazing week.
And don't forget to share this, because there's so many women out there that would appreciate it. Until next week, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
If you love this episode today, Like if you loved it, even if you just liked it a little bit, that would help. We would love to ask you a huge favor. Can you please, 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 a million times, please, subscribe to our channel.
Push the button below. Just push it now before you forget.
Just
push it.
You can do it.
Because not only will you never miss an episode ever again,
Never.
You'll always be there, but then you'll also help other people find us, because the more people that watch us, the more people that will get our message, and then more people will be part of our podcast. Wouldn't that be awesome?
And we can't not see you and hear you every week, can we? We just can't. So just do it. Just do it.
Just push the button.
Eat the frog. Do it now.
It's right down there.
Go do it for us. That'll be like the best present you could ever give us. Thank you.
Bye.